And welcome back, everybody. I'm meteorologist Griffin. Of course, we are tracking Hurricane Michael, which has rapidly intensified overnight. It is now officially a major hurricane, a Category 4 storm. It's made it all the way up to Category 4 status now. And with the winds up to 140 miles per hour, that makes it a solid Category 4 hurricane. And if you know anybody who's anywhere from, let's say, Destin to Apalachicola, you need to tell them to just hunker down or get out of there. I mean, they're kind of running out of time for evacuations now. Hopefully they've already heeded the warnings and gotten out of there, because the Florida Panhandle has never, in the history of record keeping since 1851, had a Category 4 storm at landfall. And the pressure's now down to 937 millibars, which is down a couple more millibars from the last time we did a Maine weather segment, which was about 30 minutes ago. The center of the storm now is about 90 miles south-southwest of Panama City. So we're talking about landfall. Well, if it's moving at 13 miles per hour, we've got about 6 or 7 hours before this storm eventually makes landfall. So we'll be talking about landfall likely occurring at around lunchtime today near Panama City. It has shown no signs of weakening. If anything, it's getting stronger now.
Yes, it just strengthened this morning with the pressure dropping to 933 millibars.
Yes.
And that's crazy. And like we said earlier, that's even less than what Harvey was when it hit Texas, Hurricane Harvey in Texas.
In the past couple of minutes, the pressure has now been reported to 931 millibars. It's still intensifying after all this time, and I do think it has a very small chance of possibly becoming a Category 5 storm before making landfall.
Parts of our area are possibly already dealing with those tropical storm force winds as that storm is getting a little bit closer to us.
This is a very compelling satellite image right now, and the pressures, like we talked about, has done nothing but drop. There really hasn't been no sign of this thing weakening. I think early this morning we were talking about this in the 940s. Now it's all the way down to the 920s. So it's dropped about 20 millibars over the course of, I would say less than 12 hours. Yeah,
which is very significant. It's always a sign of a very healthy hurricane, a very damaging hurricane, and likely history-making hurricane, changing things down at the coast for the next generation to come. It is not going to look the same next time you go down there.
This thing is mean looking. Everything that you see there in red on radar, that is where the major hurricane force winds are. So we're talking about winds in excess of 110 miles per hour or greater. And to say the least, this is going to be devastating for this part of the state of Florida. This is going to be, it's making a beeline right towards Panama City, basically right in line with what the National Hurricane Center has been forecasting for the past couple of days.
But I'm going to tell you right now, anything that was on this coast within 20 minutes just now is gone, is going to be washed away. It is going to be one of those concrete slab situations when this all calms down. My heart is racing. I have never, George, seen something like an entire home, a well-built home, rolling. We
understand that our Panama City station has lost power at this time, so we are welcoming quite a few new viewers to our internet stream. We kind of want to update you as to what's going on. You see the live images from Panama City Beach. These are courtesy of our network affiliate ABC News. David Muir is on the coastline. You just saw Ginger Z, and so we're going to stay with these images from Panama City Beach.
It's somewhat remarkable that you have states of emergency in several states already. They're now preparing for the possibility that it'll be at hurricane strength when it travels through Georgia and beyond.
Mexico Beach getting in on that action with some of those strongest winds coming in offshore.
It's like Port St. Joe just recorded a gust of 106 miles per hour.
Yeah, there you go. So, and with that eye wall, actually the eye now just 3 miles offshore, they are in the core of that storm now.
This is it.
This is it. Landfall will be happening imminently, and with this storm being as strong as it is, it does increase the likelihood of us having those hurricane force winds in our area.
It is worth noting that the reason that we're calling this a historic storm, we're calling it that for a reason, because when you rank storms by pressure, this would be the 3rd strongest hurricane to make landfall in the United States ever since records began back in the 1850s. The National Weather Service is maintaining that there is an extreme wind warning in effect for many of our counties in and around Panama City. We've got Gulf County, Franklin County, all included with those. That extreme wind warning, that's in effect until 4:15 p.m. So that means winds on the order of 115 miles per hour or greater. And those warnings are almost rarely ever issued. I think this is the first time the National Weather Service office in Tallahassee has ever issued.
Yeah, this is a very unprecedented storm coming into the Panhandle. As far as this part of the Panhandle, we haven't seen anything like this pretty much ever, you know, as far as recorded history.
The destruction is going to be very real. Once we get to come up for air along the coastline and take a look at this, we may be very astonished at what we see, friends.
Right now, it is approaching Interstate 10 just to the south of Mariana itself. Here's Mariana, right here's Interstate 10. US 90 is with us right there, and this is going to be crossing over momentarily. The strongest winds likely right in this area where we have the highest reflectivity on our radar map, upwards of 150 mile-per-hour winds from Donaldsonville. Is pretty much the bullseye in our area to have the center of circulation moving over your neighborhood as we do head into the next couple of hours.
People are aware that Ben and most of the crew are headed to the EMA in downtown Dothan to set broadcasting up down there because they're worried about the really tall tower out here succumbing to the winds later this afternoon.
Yeah, it's built to withstand wind, obviously. It's been standing since 1970, so it's not a weak structure. But when you're dealing with a storm like this where it's hurricane force for upwards of, say, several hours, 3-4 hours, it's gonna put a lot of stress on the building. There's a lot of tension on those cables.
Yeah,
I've seen things when those towers are coming down, they can basically slice right through a car. And
another thing we're worried about too, if this had been in this intensity and made landfall, say, around Apalachicola, the Appalachian Bay area, all that water